The freeze-dried food industry is worth billions of dollars. And it is built in large part on half-truths. Not outright fraud. Not deliberate deception in the most malicious sense of those words. But a careful, consistent, industry-wide pattern of omitting important information that consumers genuinely deserve to know before spending hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars on emergency food supplies for their families. Information that is not hidden exactly, but that is never prominently displayed, never volunteered, and never emphasized in the marketing materials that drive purchasing decisions. Today, I am telling you what the industry consistently glosses over. Because if you are going to invest serious money in freeze-dried food for your family's security, you deserve the full picture, not the version that sells the most cans. The shelf life claim. 25 years. You see it everywhere. On the cans, in the advertisements, on every emergency preparedness website and YouTube channel that has a brand deal with a freeze-dried food company. And it is technically true, under very specific laboratory-adjacent storage conditions that the overwhelming majority of people will never actually achieve in their real homes. The 25-year shelf life figure applies to food stored at a constant 55 degrees Fahrenheit in a consistently low humidity environment. That is a temperature most people associate with a wine cellar or a climate-controlled storage facility, not a spare bedroom, a basement corner, or a garage shelf. The moment your storage temperature rises above that benchmark, shelf life decreases, and it decreases in ways the marketing materials do not make prominent. At 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a perfectly normal room temperature in most American homes, shelf life for most freeze-dried products drops to somewhere between 15 and 20 years. At 80 degrees, the temperature of a warm garage in late spring or summer, it may drop to 10 to 15 years. At 90 degrees, you are looking at significantly less than that. The 25-year number is a ceiling achieved under ideal conditions, not a guarantee applicable to the closet shelf in your spare room. Read the fine print on storage temperature requirements before you make a significant investment, and be honest with yourself about where these cans are actually going to live. The calorie density problem. Here is what the serving size charts and nutritional panels on freeze-dried emergency food kits do not display prominently, and what the marketing copy almost never addresses directly. The calorie counts per serving in many commercial emergency food kits are calculated for sedentary individuals operating under minimal physical and psychological stress. A kit advertised as a 2,000 calorie daily supply assumes you are largely sitting still in a comfortable environment. In a real emergency scenario involving manual labor, extended walking, exposure to cold weather, physical exertion, and the metabolic cost of sustained psychological stress, caloric needs can spike to 3,000 or even 4,000 calories per day for an active adult. The kit that says 1 month supply on the label may realistically be a 2-week supply for an active adult operating under genuine crisis conditions. This is not a minor discrepancy. It cuts your actual supply in half. Before purchasing any emergency food kit, identify the total calorie count of the entire kit, not the per serving figure. Divide that total by 2,500 to 3,000 calories to get a realistic estimate of how many actual days it will cover for active adults. That number is often significantly lower than what the packaging implies. The sodium content. Freeze-dried meals, particularly the ready-to-eat entrees marketed in emergency kits as convenient, complete meals, can be extremely high in sodium in ways that create real health consequences in extended use. Some individual single-serving freeze-dried entrees contain between 1,000 and 1,500 milligrams of sodium per serving. For a full day of eating such meals across breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a person could easily consume between 3,000 and 4,500 milligrams of sodium, nearly double the recommended daily limit under normal conditions, in a scenario where conditions are anything but normal. In a high-stress emergency situation where hydration may already be compromised, where physical exertion is elevated, and where medical care is potentially unavailable, this level of sodium intake is not a minor inconvenience. It is a genuine health concern, particularly for anyone with existing cardiovascular issues, hypertension, or kidney function concerns. Check the sodium content of any entree-style freeze-dried product before you commit to buying it in quantity. It matters. the water requirement. Freeze-dried food requires water to reconstitute, and sometimes requires significant amounts of it, a fact that is consistently underemphasized in marketing materials that focus on convenience and shelf life. A single freeze-dried entree may require 1 to 2 cups of water per serving just for food preparation. That is a substantial additional demand on your water supply. If your water supply is the critical constraint in your emergency scenario, which it frequently is, in exactly the situations where freeze-dried food would be most heavily relied upon, then a freeze-dried heavy food supply makes that constraint meaningfully worse. Plan your water storage in direct, calculated proportion to your freeze-dried food inventory. If you have not done that math before purchasing, do it now. The variety illusion. After 3 days of eating variations on the same underlying meal, food fatigue begins to set in. After a week, it affects appetite and eating consistency. After 2 weeks, it can affect morale, psychological stability, and the willingness of family members, especially children, to eat at all. In a prolonged emergency that has real consequences that extend far beyond mere dissatisfaction. Before purchasing any emergency food kit, read the actual full contents list rather than the marketing summary. Count the genuinely unique meal structures, not the total number of servings or the total number of flavor variations on the same base. That number is almost always smaller than the packaging implies. The price per calorie problem. Freeze-dried food is expensive per calorie, significantly, substantially more expensive than the alternative building blocks of a serious long-term food supply, and that gap matters enormously when you are calculating what it actually costs to feed a family for an extended period. A week's supply of freeze-dried entrees for one adult might cost between $80 and $150 depending on the brand, the specific products, and the supplier. That same week of equivalent calories, built from white rice, dried beans, rolled oats, and canned protein, costs between $15 and $25. Freeze-dried food has genuine real advantages: convenience, speed of preparation, variety, and palatability that staple foods cannot always match. Those advantages are worth something, but they are not worth 5 to 10 times the per-calorie cost of alternatives when that cost is scaled across a family of 4 for a multi-month supply. Freeze-dried food should supplement a core storage plan built intelligently on affordable staple foods. It should not replace that foundation, and for most families operating on real budgets, it cannot realistically do so. What freeze-dried food is actually good for? Having laid out every concern in full, I want to be completely clear about something. Freeze-dried food has a legitimate, valuable, and genuinely important place in a well-constructed emergency pantry. I am not arguing against it. I am arguing against misunderstanding it. Freeze-dried fruits and vegetables preserve vitamins, minerals, and nutritional complexity that dried staples simply cannot provide. Freeze-dried proteins add variety and complete amino acid profiles that prevent the food fatigue and nutritional gaps that develop rapidly in extended grain and legume-heavy emergency diets. The convenience and speed of preparation that freeze-dried food offers is genuinely valuable in scenarios where time, fuel, or physical capacity are constrained. And the quality of the best freeze-dried products, Mountain House, Thrive Life, August Farms among them, is genuinely impressive by any honest assessment. The problem has never been freeze-dried food itself. The problem is the industry's consistent encouragement of treating it as a complete, standalone solution rather than one intelligent component of a layered, comprehensive system. The families who purchase 1 month of freeze-dried kits, stack them in a closet, and consider themselves prepared are the families who will encounter the most painful surprises when those kits run short, run out of water to reconstitute them, or fail to deliver the calories an active family actually needs under real conditions. The families who build a solid, affordable foundation of white rice, dried beans, rolled oats, and long-term staples, and then supplement that foundation intelligently with freeze-dried vegetables, proteins, and fruits to add nutrition and variety, will fare significantly better on every meaningful measure. Know what you are buying. Know what it actually does and what it does not do. Understand the conditions it requires to deliver on its promises. And build your family's food security accordingly, with clear eyes, realistic expectations, and a layered strategy that does not depend on any single product category to carry the entire weight. That is what serious preparedness looks like. And now you have enough information to actually do it.